This is being shot on a professional camera. This is being shot using the Galaxy S23 Ultra. Can you tell the difference? Let's go. A couple weeks ago, I stood here and sort of told you to use your Samsung phone to start a YouTube channel or just create content in general. And then something happened. I went to an event in Sydney, the Samsung event, and I felt a little bit overwhelmed. I was around a lot of tech media and influencers, and a lot of them had cameras. And then I saw the limitations of what the smartphone was doing for me. Don't get me wrong, the S23 Ultra has some incredible camera capabilities and gives you the appearance of taking good A-roll footage. A lot of you didn't notice for the longest time that pretty much my entire channel was using the Galaxy S23 Ultra. But there comes a time sometimes when you need to sort of make a jump. If you want to create better content and you want to create more advanced stuff and have more control, you need a camera. Today, what I want to take a look at is the difference between taking content using your camera and taking content using a smartphone, because they do offer both very different things. You have the more control of a camera, but you have the convenience of a smartphone. First things first, we're going to look at the A-roll, which is what you're looking at right now. So behind me here, I have my Galaxy Z Fold 5 just sort of recording the overall situation. And as you can see, the setup on the camera is a lot sort of more complex than the setup on the phone. The phone just has the camera lenses that are on there. Whereas the Sony, the ZV-E10, I needed to get some more advanced lenses to make this work. So what I'm using right now is the Sigma f1.4 16mm lens, which gives me that nicer, wider angle, and of course gives me the aperture control to create that more shallow depth of field. The phone, well, I'm just using the main camera in portrait video mode, shooting in 4K 30. But the portrait video mode gives me that depth of field, albeit artificially created. Which one looks better? It depends on the lighting as well. Like, I've very much curated the lighting to look good for the camera, not for the phone. Normally for the phone, I will boost the brightness up of the lighting and make it look a little bit different. In fact, let me do that so you can see what it looks like. So this is now the phone at the brightness level I would normally make A-roll videos at. And then this is the camera with that brightness level. The thing is, with the camera, I can adjust. I can make adjustments to make this look a bit better. So for example, I can change the aperture. I'll do that over here. So now the aperture's changed. You can see how much darker the situation has got. And it actually doesn't look too bad. I may keep it. But then over here, you'll see nothing can change. Like, I'm stuck with the settings, especially if I use portrait video mode. The thing about all this is that having this equipment means that you have to think about things a little bit more. With the phone, I literally can just put the phone on the tripod and hit record, and the job's done. As long as I've got my framing right, I let the phone take care of the rest. Whereas with a camera, you need to consider everything. You need to make sure the room's properly lit. You need to make sure you've got the right settings turned on to create that shallow depth of field, to create the right white balance. All of that needs to be considered. Sometimes it's just easier to just pick up the phone and hit record. The phone, of course, has Pro Video mode. I've dived deep into the depths of Pro Video mode on the channel already, so we know the capabilities that it has, but the limitations of Pro Video mode are there. It's still limited by the hardware you have on the phone. There's no aperture control. You have the very basic exposure and shutter speed settings and ISO settings, and there is the manual focus slider, which you can use. But of course, with no preview screen, the preview screen on the camera does give you a lot of help. Plus, of course, you have the source monitor, which you can set up on a tablet or another phone. You very much have that control to create it exactly the way you want it. The phone just doesn't give you that. But this is where the camera can kind of give you that extra bit. If you're looking to do product shots, so you're not just taking shots of A-roll of people with blurred backgrounds, you can expand your arsenal. Enter lenses. Smartphones, you can get different lenses that you can clip on, and you can create sort of a pseudo-like effect of that. And of course, you've got the 5X and the 10X and all that sort of stuff that phones are now giving you. But it does not replace this physical hardware that you can get. This is the Tamron 17 to 70mm f2.8 lens. So made for Sony E-mount. So let's check this out and see how this compares in taking product shots between the camera and the phone. So I just took off my Tamron lens and put the Sigma one back on because I just tried out the Tamron for product shots. It's interesting. The video from last week on Sunday was me using a mixture of both for B-roll, the S23 Ultra and the Tamron lens, because I wanted to see if people picked up on the interchangeable difference between the two. Just then, me testing it, I saw an immediate difference straight away. Not just in the fact that the Tamron lens just made it simpler to sort of create that nice sort of depth of field and the smooth sort of zoom as it sort of goes into the product to sort of create that drama, but also just the fact that you can get everything you want sort of clean and sharp. The S23 Ultra requires a little bit more of sort of workarounds. For example, to get me to have sort of a sight of what I'm filming, I use Samsung Flow on the tablet so I can actually see and control, especially in Pro Video mode, because there are some things in Pro Video mode that can help create that sort of natural depth of field just on its own. But you do need to sort of have a bit of an idea of what it is you're doing. Whereas with the Tamron lens that I used, it was literally just rotate to zoom in and the telephoto did the rest. So, but this is the main reason I think why I got a camera, because the product shots that you can actually get out of a proper camera versus the phone means that you can actually create more sort of impactful content. And for me, my job as a YouTuber, as a Samsung YouTuber, both for my channel and Sam Mobile, which you will see me on both, you'll see that I want to show how powerful Samsung devices are. And I think for me to do that properly, I need to something that can actually showcase it in the right way. And for me, that's showcasing the hardware and sort of the sharp edges and the corners and how it feels and how it looks, but also the software in everyday life, and make it more cinematic and make it feel like you're actually there, seeing it and experiencing it for yourself, so you can follow along to the videos that I'm making. So you can see here the difference. Product shot A, shot with the Tamron and the Sony ZV-E10. Product shot B, shot with the S23 Ultra using Pro Video mode and also portrait video mode as well. So you can see the difference between those two sort of functions. Pro Video mode, portrait mode, Tamron Sony ZV-E10. So that kind of leaves with a bit of a question. Can you sustain yourself using just the phone for YouTube? The answer is yes, absolutely. And for me, in actually conducting this experiment, the S23 Ultra's portrait video mode holds up incredibly well for A-roll, especially with the right lighting and the right environment. You can get really sharp, detailed A-roll using 4K 30 portrait video. I did it for a year and a half, but there comes a point, depending on your goals and ambitions, where you might need to extend that out, and more powerful hardware with more sort of purposeful hardware sort of can drag you on that journey. That's not to say I'm going to stop using the phone. In certain situations, I prefer it because the convenience of a smartphone when you're out and about, on the go, on the move, you just pull the phone out of your pocket and you capture B-roll wherever you are, whatever you're doing. You don't need to bring with you multiple lenses, multiple things. And in outdoor situations, the phone does a more than adequate job with the right lighting and the right environment. And the sensor being larger can create that natural depth of field anyway. But no denying that you can get better quality out of a camera. This was something different, just to fill in time while I'm waiting for my products to arrive. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you got something out of it. Let me know which one you prefer, if you're happy with the phone's content, or if you also like the camera stuff that is coming up as well. Drop a line in the comments. Hit subscribe, as usual. Looking forward to growing the audience as I'm doing. I'll see you in the next one. You!